Bass players, are you ready? All right, once again, we've created 6 more for you guys who are wanting to play a little bit more gospel. And don't worry, if you're new to gospel music, just like I've done in all the other packs. And by the way, if you're not hip to these gospel jam packs that I'm creating for the bass community, you need to know about them now. I've been making these gospel packs for guys that want to learn more about gospel music, who want to improve their playing, who want to learn more about the genre. Maybe you're not going to ever step foot inside of a church, but you want to know about that gospel sound. You want to know a little bit and have a better understanding about how we do what we do. So this time I've created more tracks for you guys to work out to. I brought in professional musicians to help me create this sound. So these tracks come alive when you're playing them. You feel like you're right there on the stage playing with a full band. So you're gonna get the real feel of what cats would do in this type setting. And don't worry, it's not super complicated. There are basically 2 sections to the songs. There's an A section and there's a B section. It's about a minute or a minute and 30 seconds long, and you're gonna loop that and just have fun and rock out. And don't worry, these tracks are completely royalty free, so you can use them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever your place of choice to post your videos. Or if you're a person who just wants to learn in secret, that's cool. I got something for you too. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out all of this stuff on your own. When you listen to these tracks, they're banging, but you don't have to figure out all of this stuff by yourself. I am including the sheet music and tab for you guys who read, or for you guys who read tab and you want to know what I'm doing. So there's an MP3 that includes my bass take, so you get a real idea of what to play around this track, and you're not just out there fishing for ideas. Although it's wide open for you to do whatever you want to do on it. Not only that, as I've done with all of the bass jam packs, I'm going as far as to show you exactly. We're going to break it down. I've created instructionals for all 6 songs. So we're going to go through, I'm going to break down what it is I'm playing, the licks, all of it, the whole 9, you get it all, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to break it down. We're not going to take forever with it either. We're going to get to the good part so you can get to practicing and get to having fun on this stuff. So I invite you to check out the Straight Gospel Bass Jam Pack Volume 2. You're going to love it. Let's go. Good morning, good people, and welcome to Grooves and Motivation Live. Welcome back for everybody who's getting over their holiday weekend. Some of you guys had 4 days, some of you had 3 days, some of you guys had no days. Nonetheless, we're all here, and just want to say welcome to everybody who's joining. This is a special time of year for me. If you follow me on social media, you know my wife and I, we've been celebrating all week leading up to our 14th year married, 14-year wedding anniversary. A few weeks ago, I just celebrated a birthday, so it's kind of cool time of year for me for the most part. I'm like end of summer, near fall, you know what I'm saying? So it's been a cool time of celebrating. But welcome to everybody that's joining. If you don't know who I am for whatever reason, I'm Jermaine Morgan. And again, this is Grooves and Motivation. Be sure to drop in the chat where you're watching from. I always like to see that. I always like to know who's tuning in. I see those that little eyeball with telling me how many people are viewing, but I don't know who you are, where you watching from. So when you drop something in the chat, that lets me know that you ain't just kind of peeping and tumbling, if you being funny. What's up, Floyd? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So yeah, just wanted to come on here again and share with you guys this morning. I was debating not coming on this morning, but I'm glad I did. Greetings from Colombia. Thank you for being here. So Navarro, it's that H Navarro. Good morning to you. Chris, what's up, man? China is in the building. Thank you for showing up. That's so cool. China is in the building this morning. So Colombia, we have China in the building and whoever else. So I had this groove that I was playing with. Let's see if we can get started kind of playing through a few ideas of this right here. And y'all can keep dropping the comments. I'll check them. Good morning, Tiffany. ADL, if I'm saying that correctly, good morning. Puerto Rico is in the building. Thank you for joining. Morning, Sheldon. Hinesville, Georgia. It's always a pleasure to hear your insights. Thank you, and keep it up. Keep it coming today. I'm not reading worth anything this morning. Keep it coming, brother. God bless. Thank you, Sheldon. I really, really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate you being here and listening. Thank you. I see Floyd. You said Fayetteville. Yeah, I lived in Fayetteville for a little while when I first moved to Atlanta. What's going on, James? Taking it slow this morning. Tuning. How's everybody feeling this morning? Y'all good? Moving slow. I see you, James. So I'm knocking the cobwebs off this morning. Haven't really played a lot. Me and my wife had a free weekend. We took the kids and they stayed with my mom and my stepfather. So shout out to the family if you're watching this morning, Mama. We appreciate the break. So I literally took a break from everything and just really enjoyed the time with my wife. And just took a good break away from the instrument. And so I'm now working through these cobwebs this morning. Jonathan, what's up, man? How you doing? Jonathan, you gotta go back and watch my videos. I did a whole review on this bass. This is a Serene bass, and yeah, it's a new one. But yeah, go back and I won't spend time here doing it today. I literally did a video I posted maybe last week of the review. So yeah, go and check it out like right after this video, if you will. You'll see it there, and I go through everything concerning the specs and everything of this bass. So yeah. Morning, Alex. You said you love the channel. You're from Brazil. Brazil is in the building this morning. And all the gospel stuff, man. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I try to make this information available for whoever wants to know it. And if you want even more gospel stuff, as you saw, well, if you weren't here, you didn't see the video. First thing when we kicked off about the straight gospel, I've made tons of jam packs and instructionals where I'm breaking down how to play a lot of the gospel stuff. So I understand that there's a need for that, and I've been trying to create content around that need for you guys. So yeah, be sure to check out JermaineMorgan.net. There are tons of things there exclusively for gospel, and more in the works that's coming. Paul, good morning to you, sir. Canada is in the building. Jonathan says, bro, I love to hear your slap. Please do when you can. Maybe not with that backtrack. Yeah, I got you. Appreciate it, man. I don't do a whole bunch of thumping. Every now and again I'll do something. Angel, good morning to you, sir. God bless you, Brother Morgan. Good morning to all the listeners. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. So this is like I said, a really simple backing track. It's kind of expressing my feelings of gratitude this morning. I don't know if you can hear it. The melody, to me, this melody, it kind of, I don't know. I'll play it. I don't know why, but this says gratitude for me. It's simple, but this is what I'm hearing, right? Good morning, Stephen. Preston, good morning. Rayford, North Carolina is in the building. Blessings, Jermaine. This Javon sending greetings from Cayman Islands, and it's a pleasure listening to you, bro. Man, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys joining. Yeah, I am really, really grateful for you guys being here. Fitz, what's up, man? Good morning to you as well. Bruce, good morning to you. Kenny, good morning to you. T, good morning to you, sir. Floyd says, I hear words in the loop. I cry many rivers, face ups and downs, but God is right by my side. I like it. I like it, man. I'm glad that you heard that, because that's somewhere in the neighborhood of what I was hearing, somewhat. Like I said, just a really a loop of gratitude. I'll turn it down a little bit here. It's kind of like a loop of gratitude, if that makes any sense. To me, it's very important to learn how to give off gratitude, or in whatever you're doing, be expressive. I ain't gonna just say give off gratitude, but to be expressive as possible in what you do. If you're pursuing it, like if it's music, to try to figure out ways to be as expressive as possible. So if I want to express gratitude through my instrument without necessarily opening my mouth, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? To be able to, whatever emotion I'm trying to get across, to be able to get that emotion across, and let that be felt. And that's literally, Floyd, it's funny you say that again. That's almost right on the money for what I was thinking when I was kind of playing through that melody, almost, verbatim in a sense, what I was thinking. And I'm glad that you sensed that without me saying any words. So And everybody might not get that. It depends on where you are, your level of gratitude, your level of whatever you, and it could just be a good groove for you. It ain't that deep, and I get it. Music didn't used to be that deep for me back in the day, and I didn't understand when people had all those stories and stuff behind their songs. But the more I begin to connect with what it is I do, I understand that it wasn't about the technicality of it or all these different things and following a certain structure, following a certain format. The closer you get to something that you do in terms of putting your heart into it, it begins to mean a little bit more to you. Dr. Thunder, good morning to you, sir. How are you? You know what I'm saying? It begins to take on a whole new meaning for you. And again, each person is different. Each person has their own experience that make up what they put out there for the world to hear or what they put out there. A lot of the stuff that I put out now, it's stuff that I'm okay if this makes any sense as a professional musician. It's stuff that I'm okay if nobody else hears it. It doesn't matter. I'm being what's the saying, to thine own self be true. Knowing how to be completely honest with yourself and being transparent in who you are, regardless of the size of the audience or if there's an audience present at all. Being able to be honest in the moment of who you are with that. And so, that being said, a lot of the music that I create now, granted, if I'm producing for an artist or something, I have to go with what that artist wants, or if I'm producing a movie track or something I know is going to be for film or something like that, I have to stay within certain parameters. But when it comes to my own music, being as vulnerable and as open as possible when it comes to the music that I'm trying to create, because this is personal to me, and I found the more personal I can be in this thing that I'm creating, whether it's music, whatever, the instant gratification comes. It's not from somebody saying, "Oh man, that's a dope track." I've said many times before, I can sit here in my studio and make something, and I have a ball, a blast. Nobody heard it, and I know it's great. And it's like I don't need Billboard to prove it. And that's not just being just naive or just super biased because it's my own music. It's like, no, I know the reason why it's great because I put everything I had into it, and I know what the intention for me was in creating this music, and I know what's behind it. I know the heart that goes into it. So me being completely vulnerable, I can hear back what I put into the music, and it speaks to me. Even from a spiritual standpoint, it ministers back to me when I put everything that I have into it. And when you get your songs to begin to do that for you, the feelings that you're trying to give others, it gives you that feeling. Now, beware, because if you do that on the negative sense, it works. You know what I'm saying? If you're putting out negative energy, you'll feel that energy too. Reason why some people jump off bridges and stuff and do crazy stuff, because the music that they're creating is music full of hatred, full of anger, full of all this stuff that does not serve them well. So, they recycle those emotions, they recycle those feelings each time they listen to that music. So being aware of what you're putting into the music, that's serving you as well. So I know it's a little deep, too early for that for some people, but I got to be honest. Floyd says, yes, sir, I felt it, bro. It definitely speaks volumes. Yes, sir, man. Raymond, he says, greetings from Cape Town, South Africa. I think I might be getting an echo here. I'm going to turn these speakers off. All right. Greetings from Cape Town, South Africa. Raymond, I'm glad to have you here this morning. Anthony Robinson, good morning, sir. Good morning to you. And yeah, for anybody and everybody that's joining, thank you for joining in. But yeah, I was just enjoying that.
my fingers together this morning. Told y'all I'm coming off a sabbatical, so to speak. So try to get my hands together. Uh, yeah. So let's see. I like that. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for a different date. What time is it? All right. So not to be on here super long. All right. So jumping right into my topic for today, for the people that are here for the motivation. If you're here for the grooves, you didn't get much of that today, I don't guess. I might play a little bit more at the end. Ranzis Bernard, good morning to you, sir. Um, but most people don't believe. Most people don't believe. This is something that was really on my mind, really on my heart type deal that I wanted to kind of briefly speak about. Hopefully, I won't be on here too long this morning. I know some of y'all got to go to work and all that kind of stuff. And so I try to be short with this. But yeah, most people don't believe. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's amazing how many people think about it this way. How hard would it be for a salesman to sell you a product that they truly don't believe in, or they are unable to convince you that they believe in that product? The likelihood of you buying into what they're selling is going to be very, very low. I'm telling you, the likelihood of me buying something, I go to a car lot and I'm asking this salesman about this particular car. He's like, I mean, it's straight. And he does that with almost every car on the lot. What's the chances of me buying a car that I mean, they changed the oil and everything on it, but I don't know. I heard a little clicking when I was driving down the road, and so I don't. If you might be good, we're not gonna put any warranty on it. Same as no warranty. Y'all know those lots. And so if the cat is acting passive like that concerning what he's trying to sell me, then you're probably not going to make a sale. As a matter of fact, that guy's going to probably have to find another line of work, because car salesman might not be the job for him. That might not be the title for him, because the enthusiasm is not there. I don't believe you believe what you're saying. I don't believe you believe what you're trying to sell me. So if you're coming at it, and I know that's a ridiculous example to start off with in terms of making this point, but I think a lot of us in what we're trying to do, or what we say we believe, we're like that car salesman. We're like the car salesman. It's like we're out there trying to sell people or trying to sell ourselves on something that we don't truly believe in, and we want ourselves to buy it. Like, really? I'm gonna be a professional musician one day, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But you're not putting in the time, you're not putting in the work, or maybe you are doing all those things, but for you, you don't expect it to happen for you. You don't expect anyone to call you for a gig. You don't expect for you to someday be on a major stage playing somewhere. It's like your expectation is working against what you say you believe. So it's almost like self sabotage when you really look at it, because you don't believe what you're talking about. You're no different than the car salesman who's trying to sell you something, and you feel like this dude about to give me a lemon, so I'm definitely about to pill out, because I don't I don't know what's happening here. He don't seem too enthused about what he's trying to give me, and I definitely don't want to buy it if he's not even enthused about it. So I got a few points. I don't really do this much, but I wanted to write down a few points for you guys who wanted to have these notes to take with you, because I don't want to waste your time. You come on here, and I know some of you guys come to hear me play. Some of you guys come to hear what I say. Some of you guys come to use this as your fix for the week, or whatever the case may be. Whatever your reason is, I still want to share a few thoughts with you, a few notes with you. So the first thing I wanted to share in terms of the first thought was, number one, don't always depend on what you think you know. I think when it comes to belief, that's the biggest thing that gets people. Um, and I know that can go both ways, but in the particular context that I'm talking about, when it comes to belief, it's something you're believing in. You can't always go on what you think you know, especially when you're trying to exercise belief in something that you've never done before. Take me, for instance, trying to come out here and do a music career in Atlanta many, many years ago Well, from where I'm from, I didn't personally know anybody who was a successful um, career musician. I knew people who were all part-time players. They may have played with an artist, here and there, but they weren't doing this thing full time. So I didn't have an idea of what this looked like. But I believed that it was possible for me to do it. Truth be told, I didn't even know how far that belief went because I didn't have a reference point for what I was looking for at all. I knew I wanted to do here's how vague mine was. I knew I wanted to do something in music. So I went to school. I went to the university. I'm not gonna give you my whole life story, but I went to after doing a super year at a community college. So I did 3 years at a ICC community college, Itawamba Community College. Sorry, I went to the University of North Alabama and I studied commercial music because I knew I wanted to do something in music. I didn't know what it was. I knew, at that time I had got into production and all that kind of stuff. And I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't have a person that I could point to and say, I want to be that or I want to do this. It's like I knew I wanted to do something. So the belief was there. It was very vague, yet and still it was there. I got out of what I knew to be my common area and got away from around the people I knew who were doing it. I respected those people a lot, but I knew I had to get to something else in order for this belief that I had in my mind to be manifested. Because if I stayed around what I saw, that was going to reinforce what I thought I knew. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us. We stay around what we know. And so we're never hardly around anything that reinforces the thing we're trying to believe because it's too common to see people failing at trying to do a music career. Like at that time, being in Houston, Mississippi, man, talking about doing music full time. Where? For who? Playing with what? Like all those questions would have came into play then. It's like, okay, yeah, you can do music Sundays for church or playing for some quartet group or playing for some blues band or something like that on the weekends. But Monday through Friday, you need to be clocking in somewhere. No disrespect to that at all. But that's not what I wanted to do. And in order for me to get in the position that lined up with what I was believing for, I had to get around that environment that supported my belief. Now, it's a little more difficult. Well, I'm not going to say it's difficult. With social media, it's kind of leveled the playing field a little bit more because now you have, unlike 15, 16 years ago for me, you didn't have all these options of following this person or seeing how people were doing it in their own space. So you didn't have a reference point for what you were going after. You didn't have a reference point for what it looked like. So you had to just kind of go with it, and hopefully you'll learn as you go, and hopefully somebody will impart some wisdom, impart some knowledge into you. Whereas now you have free access to follow anybody, to follow any one of your heroes and to keep up with every little tab of their life in terms of what they're doing, who they're playing for, what it looks like, them getting endorsements and playing for this person, playing this bass, playing this instrument, doing this and doing that. YouTube pretty much, for the most part, can show you a good background behind the scenes of all this stuff so you know what to expect. But when I was doing it, years ago, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have nothing to go off of. So what I couldn't do, back to the point, I couldn't depend on what I think I knew if I was believing for something. Again, in other senses of that, in terms of depending on what you know, is like, well, yeah, there's some things, well, I know what I know, and you can go on that. But in the sense of having faith, believing in something, going after something you've never done before, you can't always rely on what you know because your information may very well be limited, and limited thinking can limit your outcome of what you're expecting, right? And so there's a quote that I got from Mike Todd, Pastor Mike Todd, that I really, really like. And he says, agree with your expectation, not your experience. When you're in those situations and you don't really have any, kind of like me, you don't really have anything to go off of, well, you better go with what you expect. Because if you agree with what you know, well, I'll just go ahead and, pursue this music thing on the side because I know this person here, They do it, and they got a pretty cool life. They enjoy it. That means I'm basing what I want to do based off somebody else's life, based off someone else's journey, based off someone else's perceived success or the lack thereof. So I'm basing everything I want to do based off something that I'm seeing from someone else instead of what I'm expecting. No, I haven't seen this, but I expect that this can happen for me. And so now I start lining up my belief and what I'm saying with what I'm expecting as opposed to what I've seen in the past, what I've seen from people around me, what I've seen from my environment, what I've experienced. I'm not lining it up based on those things that I've seen. I'm lining it up based on what I expect. So there's another one that I want to put down. Uh, faith, because I don't care if you're a believer, non-believer, whatever the case may be. You have to have faith in what you say you believe, or faith in something. You have to have faith that it's going to happen, because again, a lot of people get on this musical journey. I see it. I work with students, and throughout the years, I've worked with a lot of bass players and a lot of students that started out on this thing, and they really, really wanted to do it. They kind well, let me rephrase that. They kind of wanted to do it, and so, and so they started on this musical journey, and a little bit after a while, they started to fade away. I remember when I was doing one-on-one lessons many, many years ago. I have people that would start and they would be really enthused about doing the lessons, and about a month or so go by and they really get into seeing what's really required to play this instrument, and you see them fade away little by little. They start coming up with excuses for why they can't do it, saying like, well, I had this come up, I have that come up. And so they start making excuses. But when we really get down to the nitty gritty, because even in my coaching calls, what I like to do is really get to the real reason of what's going on. Because it has nothing to do with your plan. It has everything to do with your belief system. You don't have faith that you're going to be any good at this. And there's people that I've seen that let's distinguish, because there are people that I've seen who are super talented, but because of their belief system, they can't see it happening for them. No matter what I believe, no matter what I'm hearing, the potential and all that kind of stuff that I hear for them, if they don't believe it themselves, they give up, or they don't continue to persevere through those hard times when you want to take this thing and chunk it halfway across the room. They can't persevere through those times because their faith in being successful at this, their faith in actually hearing themselves play like their hero or close to, they can't get past what they currently see. Going back to what I said earlier, it's like they're agreeing with they're agreeing with their experience rather than their expectation. And so now when it comes to their plan, it's like, well, every time I practice, you hear stuff like, man, every time I do this, I get stuck and I can't move past that. And so that becomes their mindset. They continue to rehearse that mindset. Like every time I practice on something, I get stuck. So now that's your expectation when you go into it. And guess what? Expectation works. And that's getting me ahead of myself because that's my last point, expectation. But now you expect to get stuck when you practice. So now you're not enthused when you do it because you know at some point I'm going to hit this ceiling, I'm going to hit this brick wall, and it don't have to just be playing. You guys know when I talk, it ain't all related to music all the time. It can be in any area of your life. Your expectation. Some of you guys in your marriage, you don't bother trying to talk to your spouse because you know at some point y'all gonna bump heads, so you don't even try. You don't try to do nice things anymore because you know she might say something or he might say something that's going to tick you off. So you don't even put the effort forth because your expectation is lining up with your experience. It's lining up what you've already done, what you've already experienced. So you're not giving any room for faith to believe anything else is possible for you. Y'all know, uh, I'll put it like this. If you've been here before, you already know who I am and what I'm about. So I got to give you my verse here for the people who might want to go and look this up. Hebrews 11:1 says, and this is not a sermon, by the way. I like this. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, but the conviction or the evidence of things that are not seen. So I have faith in something, or I have hope in something that I can't see, but I have this belief that it's going to happen. I have this belief that this thing is going to happen. I've never seen, going back in my own life. I've never seen what a real professional musician looks like up close. I've seen what TV presented it as, with these cats that's wearing all these rock and roll clothes, all these women all over them, and they on a tour bus doing something crazy. All what TV has shown to us, and most of this stuff is in the secular world, rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? All of this different stuff. The Princes, the Rolling Stones, all these different people, Mick Jagger, the Michael Jacksons of the world, and if you're really honest, if you're a real musician, that ain't the case for you. Ain't nobody jumping out their car. Ain't nobody taking nobody out on stretchers when you walk in a room. That's probably not happening. I don't, you can be really good and that's still not happening. You have to get to superstardom doing your thing before that stuff is even considered. I've seen it happen, but not in the not in the not in the world that I've worked in. So I'm saying your faith could be very, very low in regard to what you expect because you haven't seen it before. So I had to start expecting something that I've never seen. And as I began to expect more, here's what happened for me. By faith, and I moved. I started doing stuff. And then I started getting into areas and I started getting around people that supported my belief. Because other than that, I was stuck to my own experiences, going back to the first point where I said, don't always depend on what you know. Once I started getting away from around everything that was common to me, I started lining myself up with people who were pursuing the same thing. Because if you're relentless in your pursuit of a thing, you'll find yourself right in the middle of what you're going after. Or vice versa, that thing will find its way to you. If you're relentless in your pursuit of a thing, it will find its way to you. I don't know why. It just happened. It's some people call it the law of attraction. It's the law of attraction. Almost like what you expect, you will draw to you. For those people in those relationships, I always end up with dogs in terms of men. I always end up with females who take advantage of me. They take my money. Well, you expect that. You keep expecting to end up in broken relationships. And so that's what you get because you fix your eyes on that as your expectation. So you attract that thing to you, whether you want it or not, because you start thinking about it over and over. I've heard people talk about it in the case of like your reticular activating system, where the RAS rather. So you're looking for a car, right? And some of you've heard this already. You're looking for like a red Tahoe. Let's just use that. I like SUVs and trucks. So you're looking for a red Tahoe or a red Escalade or whatever the case may be. And you got your eyes and your mind set on one, and that's the car you want. And the more you want that car, the more you start seeing it everywhere. It's like everybody all of a sudden went and bought the truck you were looking for. Like, bruh, for real? Like right now, I want a dually. Don't judge me, but I want a dually. I have a SUV, but I want a dually. I'm gonna get one too. But it's like I've been seeing them everywhere, and I know that happens for you. And if that happens for you from time to time, whatever it is, it could be a base, whatever the thing is for you. Just say, yeah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like I see this thing everywhere. I see them exactly the details that I'm looking for. We was driving down the road on I-20 coming from Alabama the other day, and I saw almost the identical truck that I want. Dude had the wheels and everything, the lift kit. I'm like, it's almost identical to what I was looking for. But that's the thing. And it's not so much that all of a sudden you have this magnet energy or whatever, but you are attracting that thing to you. And what it is, you're paying more attention to it. You're paying more attention. It's almost like in a sense you're looking for it. And I don't know where it comes. And that happens on the negative sense as well as a positive sense. So if you're beginning to attract things to you, like in terms of your plan, not getting called for gigs, you expect for people not to call you. So because that's what you expect, that's the energy you give off, you attract that back to you, and nobody calls you. You're like, man, I know ain't nobody gonna call me for no, man, don't nobody ever call me for nothing. Okay. And that's what you expect. And your faith works in that area. Because here's the thing. It's the substance of things that you hope for, whether that hope is good or whether it's bad. And it's evidence of things that you haven't seen. You're saying based on old experiences that no one calls me for gigs. And so in a sense, it's a twisted way of thinking about it, but in a sense, you hope that that happens again so it supports what you just said out of your mouth so you can be right. In your will to be right by saying, no one ever calls me, you attract that thing to you. It wasn't even on anybody's mind to not call you, but because you keep saying it, somebody thinks of someone else to call instead of you. Rather than saying, hey, man, I know that my phone is going to start blowing up off the hook about gigs and all this kind of stuff. I said this, listen, I try to keep it transparent with you guys. Listen, I said this year, no, it was, what was it, last year? Might have been the top of this year. I can't remember which one. I said this year, people are going to start sending me bases. People are going to start sending me bases. And I told my wife that because that was an expectation. Let's be honest. We all bass players here. You play something. You wouldn't be here, I'm sure, if you weren't you were into music or you're into something. And I said, you know what? I expect that people are going to start sending me bases. And I think I've had 3 to 4 bases sent to me this year because I started expecting it. And again, I align my actions with what I expected. That's my third point, just for FYI. Your expectation, you must expect it. It's expected. So going back through these 3 points, if you're late jumping on, the first one is don't always depend on what you think you know. That's number 1. Number 2, have faith. Number 3, expectation, or you must expect it, however you want to write it down, however it works for you. But I started expecting it, and because I expected, I started preparing for what I expected. I started preparing myself for what I expected. Like right now, I told my wife, I said, you know what? I got to get some more guitar stands. I'm at capacity. I can stop now because right now everything has a stand and I can sit everything on a stand, but I expect more to come. And I'm going to do things with these instruments and they're all serving different purposes. But the point is, I expect something to show up. So floppy all as well, man. And I see you guys commenting. Sometimes I lose my train of thought, so I'm trying to get everything out before I go back to the comments. But I will get to you guys. I see you commenting over there. Good morning to you if I haven't already spoke. But I started getting my expectation up because I expect these things that I'm believing. I expect them to happen. So I align myself with what I expect. Like, when it comes to healing, when it comes to your body, it's like you can expect to feel better or you can expect to have to go to the doctor for whatever situation that you have going on because you expect the doctor can fix you and you don't think that your mind has any play or your thoughts or your vision of yourself has any play in you feeling better. I know that's getting into some deep stuff that might be too deep for most people, but I've learned through faith, and I am a believer, by the way, just to be clear, a believer in Jesus. But my expectation is like there's a verse in the Bible that says, and these signs shall follow them that believe. They'll lay hands on the sick. They shall recover, all these different things. And again, because I am a believer, I believe what it says, right? So there's been times my kids have been sick. My wife has been sick. And I laid hands on her and prayed for her because that's the thing I say I believe. That's what it says I can do. And I can expect something to happen from that. So based on what I say I believe, because I'm finding out, and this is another part of this whole talk, because I know I got a lot of church musicians or Christians, so to speak, musicians who follow me. I found out that so many people are in the church or in these places of worship playing every week, and you don't believe what you say you believe. It's the craziest thing to me. And I was guilty. So I ain't acting like I'm there and I got it all worked. I ain't on that. But what I am saying, if you're going to continually do something and you're going to continually proclaim something, you have to expect some results from this thing that you're saying. If not, you might as well go do something else. If you're going to play in church and you're going to do all these worship songs and you're getting 15 songs every week and you're learning this worship set and it's talking about God, he's awesome, he's amazing, all this different stuff. But when it comes to your own personal life, you don't believe any of that stuff can work. You always have a plan B when it comes to believing in something that's unseen. You always have a plan B.
That's why you're not seeing the growth that you want to see in your career, or the growth that you want to see in your playing, or the growth that you want to see in your relationships, because you're too stuck on what you think you know. You think you know. Okay, I heard my son is having this going on, so I think I got to take him to the doctor. Not saying anything is wrong with the doctor or anything is wrong with going to the emergency room if it's necessary. I'm not saying that. But there are some things, or sometimes rather, if you are a believer, that you should operate in that thing that you say you believe. You know what I'm saying? You should operate in it. So if I keep walking and talking with this Bible and all this type of stuff, and I say I believe in the healing power of God, but I don't ever do anything about it. I don't ever try to pray for my family. I don't ever try to pray for my wife. I don't ever try to pray for my kids. But well, last time I prayed, I ain't nothing happened. Last time I tried that God stuff, man. Oh, really? Okay. So when you were learning how to play bass, every time you picked it up, everything worked out. When you were trying to play basketball, some of you athletes, every time you did it, it worked out. It's so funny how much we'll keep working on something that we really want, but something that seems too unbelievable, we'll give up on it and say it's not real. Well, guess what? You playing is not real. It was an idea that you had and you thought maybe you could do it. So if you don't think you're going to do anything with it, you might as well quit now. That's how that sounds. It sounds harsh and it sounds ridiculous, because being able to pick up an instrument and make music come out of it, we've seen that from hundreds of different people, but you hadn't seen you do it until you done it. You had an idea for some, especially my newbies. You had an idea that, man, I think I can do this. I think this can happen. So you first had hope that you could do it. And then you had faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had faith that, you know what, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to get me a bass. And then you started lessons, some of you. So you put your expectation into action. You started lining yourself up for what you had hope for and what you had faith in, and then you put an expectation on it. So I'm going to pay this person to teach me, or I'm going to take this course, beginner basics, by the way. I'm going to take this course in efforts to learn this thing because I expect what I'm hoping for to happen. But we don't do that in every single area, whether it's a career, whether it's a business idea. It's like, we don't do that in every area. We only do it in the ones that we think based on experience. Well, I've seen a lot of people pick up music and start playing, but I haven't seen a lot of successful entrepreneurs, especially in my family. Ain't nobody no entrepreneur in my family, so I'm not going to do that because I got a family that's counting on me. It doesn't happen for you until it happens for you. It doesn't work until it works. The business doesn't become a success until the business becomes a success. The successful people out there weren't successful until they became successful. All of that sounds crazy, but it's like you have to do something with what you're expecting, or else you're just talking. You're flapping your gums. You you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just saying stuff. If there's no energy behind it, if there's no expectation behind it, if there's no faith behind it, why do you believe what you believe if you can't count on it? If you can't put anything on that thing that you say you believe, what's the point? What's the point? So again, most people don't believe. Most people don't believe. Most people are following what they know or what they think they know. And if they have enough evidence based on what other people have done, they'll try it. That's not the mindset of a trailblazer. When you're trying to do something, oftentimes you might be walking at that thing alone. You don't know how it's going to end out, but just having faith that this is going to work out some kind of way. What I'm doing right now, I didn't see a model for this. I didn't see it and if you guys was on, I know some of you guys was watching this morning where you were on the live I did with my wife on Saturday, where we were talking about just being married and these relationship things and that kind of thing. But one of the things I was talking about there is, like, when I walked away and I said I was going to pursue my own business, not necessarily music. I've been pursuing music, but I was going to pursue my own business, my business side of what I'm doing in music. I was going to pursue that full time. I had no idea what this looked like.
I had been working for someone all my life, depending on somebody to give me a check for the services that I've rendered. Even though I was considered self-employed many years ago, I was still counting on somebody else to cut me a check. I didn't know how to necessarily create my own money. I didn't know how to create something to where not fully, not right away. It later came, but I didn't know how to do all these things until I started doing it. Uh, Another scripture says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. It's like trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him; He'll direct your path. I can't not say this stuff, even though it might be offensive for most people, but that's the stuff I live by. I'm only able to make certain decisions in my personal life. Ain't got nothing to do with you. But for me, the only way I've been able to do certain things and have a family of four counting on me, you know what I'm saying, is by not trusting my own way. Now, I do trust the ideas that I'm given and I move on them, to be clear. I ain't just wandering around here just wait, whatever falls out the sky. No, it's a strategy that goes into it. But I understand and I recognize that this is not coming from me solely. I am not the giver of these good ideas. I take these ideas and I run with them. It's stuff that I get. And even if, and here, let me help somebody. Even if that thing you're trying to do doesn't immediately serve you, don't throw it in the trash. I like that. I might write that down for myself. Even if that good idea that you had does not serve you right away, do not throw it in the trash. It doesn't mean it was a bad idea. It just means maybe people haven't caught up to it yet. Maybe that person that you're looking for hadn't seen the idea yet. That person who's going to fund that idea, that person who's going to invest into your idea, don't throw your idea away. Go ahead and get it together. If it's a course, go ahead and do your course. You might have to go back and refine it years later and find some different things that you can tweak. But don't throw that thing away. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get it. Put it out there. I'm serious. Get it. Whatever the idea is, I challenge all of you guys today. If you have some ideas, begin to write those ideas down. Don't let not a nan one of them. I know that's terrible English, but don't let not a nan one of those ideas fall to the ground. Start writing them down. I got my notes here. Notepad is a beautiful thing on the iPhone. And I'm always writing notes down. I get an idea, I write it down immediately. I start writing that thing down. And some of that stuff, I go back and I revisit it. I'm like, man, all right, I need to do this. Most of the stuff, if it's a really good idea, I don't sit on it long. I move. I move because I've learned over the years that I've been doing certain things. When I don't procrastinate and I go ahead and move on the idea, not just writing it down, but plan of action, getting the plan of action, being strategic. If I get a plan of action concerning this thing and I begin to move on that plan of action, I might not have all the details worked out, but as I trust God, as I pray about this thing, all right, God, I'm gonna try it. I know you gave me this idea. I'm going for it. If I fall on my face, at least I know quicker that it doesn't work. I know sooner that it doesn't work versus sitting on the, on the edge. Like, I want to try it, but I want to get this together. I was talking to someone this weekend and they were talking about doing some videos, but they got to get this together and they got to get that together and they got to do this and they got to do that. And I want to do it, but I want to get this. I said, no. I said, get your phone out. If you have an idea, if you have a thought that comes to you, record it, put it up. Sounded crazy, but that's what I told him. I said, you have to start with where you are with what you have, because even with the content creators, it's like most of us that got on YouTube and stuff years ago, just posting random video like me. That's how I started, just posting random videos of me playing here on YouTube. I didn't have no direction. I didn't really have a goal. My goal was to put some stuff out on YouTube because a friend of mine, I did a video with him and I seen, he was getting views for just, little jams and everything. I said, well, this YouTube thing is kind of cool. Let me put some videos up and just see what happens. I was doing it with my my iMac at the time. I would use my camera off my iMac and I was just posting videos, not really having any trajectory or anything. I was just putting up content. But in just putting up content, not even having a trajectory, not even having a plan of action or anything, Even in my ignorance, I was gaining subscribers. Now, I'm gonna let that sit for somebody because now there's more of a strategy in terms of the stuff that I do. When we come on Grooves and Motivation, 7:30 Tuesday mornings, you guys already know what it's gonna be about. If you've been here before, and a lot of you guys are regulars, and so you show back up expecting because you know there's more of a strategy involved in terms of what I'm trying to do. And it improved over the years. But when I first started posting videos, I didn't have a strategy. It would have been great to have one, but I didn't. I started with where I was. I started where I was with what I had, and I just began putting out content. And I started picking up subscribers. People liked what it is I put out. And now through that process, I was able to better over the years craft that content into making it something that I felt good about and something that my audience that was now following me, they felt good about the content that I was creating. So now they started inviting more people and so on and so forth. So much so now to we're over 40,000 subscribers. But when I started, I didn't have it all figured out. It wasn't no, crispy looking camera like this image that you're seeing right now. It wasn't polished. I didn't have a logo and all that kind of stuff that was in the videos. I think I had a logo when I started, but all of that stuff wasn't relevant at the time. It wasn't even that important to me. I started with what I had and I began putting it out. I didn't even have an expectation for anything. Sometimes you don't even need all that stuff. You just need to get moving and get busy. And as you move, ideas begin to come to you. You begin to figure out, oh, now that I've been doing this work, I can actually leverage this thing over here that I've been doing. Oh, I didn't know when I put my first album out, because I had been doing YouTube, I could leverage that platform to promote my album. And so then, if you read my book, you know where I'm going. Then Say It With Your Strings came along, where I did the contest. This was before all these challenges and all that stuff. I did the Say It With Your Strings contest, and I started leveraging other people's platforms and drawing more attention to my music, my first record. But it all came from me just starting to put something out when I didn't really have a clear plan of what it is I was trying to do. So you're so busy trying to perfect everything that you're not making any progress. You're not making, any steps towards what it is you want to do. So because of that, you revert back to what didn't work in the past because you're giving yourself too much time in between to support your thought of, man, this is not going to work. When you give yourself too much time, kind of like going up to the girl when you're in high school and saying something, but you keep waiting, and before you know it, the other dude walks up, he says something with her, now he going with her. And now you're sitting there looking crazy because you took too long to go over there and make your move. You should have said something. You should have said, now she gone. Now you gotta wait for him to do something crazy and them to break up for you to do the rebound job. I'm talking in somebody's business right now. But you know what I'm saying? So all those things being said, take action. Take action. Don't always go based on what you think you know. Have faith and have an expectation with what you're trying to do, right? All right, so let me go back. I done missed all kind of comments, I know, but it's all good. Also, okay, it's not that bad. I missed a lot, but it's not that bad. P. Lee, if you're still here, he says, good morning, Jay, listening to you today while riding the motorcycle. Yes, sir. Hello, everyone from the Rocket City. Yes, sir. That's cool stuff, man. Who is this? Linus says, good morning, Jermaine. Greetings from Mexico. Mexico in the building. He says, I'm getting ready for work, but the best way to start the day is learning and enjoying your talent. Thanks for the inspiration, for inspiring us. Sorry. Thank you, sir. Who is that? Seek Peace. Good morning, brother. Jermaine and everybody in the room. This good morning, man. Good morning to you. Love that peace sign. Marcy, sorry. Could I please get a recommendation for low tension round wounds? I use SIT strings. If I could recommend anything, I'd probably recommend these. That's what I'd recommend. The power wound. So if you're still here, Marcy, that's what I use. Right? Sheldon, yeah, that's me to what I said earlier. Oops, late to the party. I think I read that. Charles says this is well, my bad. Bernard says virtualizing. Hold on, no, virtual hug. Sure, bro, virtual hug. I got you. I see you. Sorry about that. Charles says this is good stuff right here, bro. What good is it having faith if you don't use it? Good morning to you, Charles. Listen, I'm telling you, I believe I can learn to slap bass and make time to practice. It's all about what you believe because what you believe, ultimately, you'll put action behind that thing that you really believe. Because if you believe you don't have time, you won't make time. If you believe that you can become a great bass player, then your actions are gonna begin to line up with your belief. Last thing, if are not sure whether you truly believe something or not, check the actions that you have around that thing you say you believe. That'll tell you. If you're not sure, like, man, I don't know if I'm really believing this thing well, check your actions. Do your actions line up with what you say you believe? And if not, that's your answer. It's that simple. Uh, ADL, if I'm saying that if I'm saying that correctly, good morning to you. Faith is real when you uh, act according to what you say you believe. Absolutely. I believe that I will be the choice-based player for a church. There you go, Charles. What up, Jermaine? Kevin, this is Kevin speaking. It's been a while, but finally got a chance to get on. Kevin, glad that you're here, man. Thank you for joining in. Ant, what's up, man? Chuck B, good morning to you. So again, I hope that this has been helpful for you good people that are watching this morning. I don't always know how this information is going to land, but I always want to come and add value to you people who, when I say you people, I don't mean you people. But I always want to add value when I get on here in the mornings because let's be honest, it's super early. Ain't nobody got time to be playing around and goofing off and just wasting your time. I got better things to do with my life, and I'm sure you do as well. So if I'm going to be here, I'd rather add value. What I learned a long time ago in terms of my playing when I was doing all that random posting on YouTube, I started to notice the more I shared information, the more subscribers I picked up. The videos, I'm just playing, having a good time, just goofing off. It was cool. But the more I shared information, I understood that there was more of a hunger for people to know. Like more people were interested in what I was playing than just hearing me play it. There's a great deal of people who are interested in hearing, man, I want to hear you do this. But the majority of my audience was more interested in learning how to do what I did. Don't just show me don't just show off or you play it, like show me how to do it as well. And really by doing that, that kind of birthed my whole website switching because years ago, JermaineMorgan.net was a place where you could go and find out about me as an artist and find out about my music. And over time, as I found out that more people were interested in learning how to do what I did as opposed to just enjoying the music, not saying that they don't enjoy the music, but it was an audience for people who were wanting to learn more. Once I started targeting that audience in terms of creating content for those people, that shifted the whole trajectory of my website and the whole trajectory of my mindset in terms of how I went about doing what I do. Not to say that I don't still post videos of me playing, because I do enjoy that. I really enjoy playing. I really enjoy you guys enjoying the stuff that I play. And so I do a little bit of both. But now the learning has shifted to more so on the website. And there are tons of videos still here on YouTube for everyone who wants to go and learn some of the stuff that I play and how I do what I do, right? Cardell says, blessings to all. It's as if you was following me around, but but life took a turn once my dad passed. So now it's like I don't want to do anything. Let me read that again. I want to make sure I got you. Blessings to all. It's as if you was following me around, but life took a turn once my dad passed. So now it's like I don't want to do anything. Cardell, I can understand the exhaustion. For some people, it's especially with this year being as tough as it is. with the exhaustion of not wanting to do it. I experienced that right before I pursued my business full time. I had got to the point that I was just simply going through the motions, and I didn't, I cared about what I was doing, and I was always trying to be excellent for the sake of being excellent, but there was no passion behind it. You know what I'm saying? I think I've always been low key a perfectionist, and I always try to give my best effort, but there was no passion behind it, and it was like I was just completely burnt out. So whether that be a death, whether that be a failed relationship, whether that be you just being burnt out because of being used and abused by people, whatever the case may be, I think one of the things, Cardell, that could help, and I've said this many times before, and it even goes back to how I started this live off today. If you can find a place and space in your life for gratitude, being thankful for what you have, I think that changes. That's the secret weapon that changes the complete dynamic for how you approach what you do, all that you do. Because once we start really looking not at our problems, but how much we have to be grateful for. I'm I try to be honest with you guys because I know there's a scripture that talks about in the Bible. It says we overcome by the blood of the lamb and the word of our testimony. I don't like to be transparent with y'all. I don't like telling y'all my business. I'm gonna be honest with you. But at the same time, I'm an open book. I had an accident some of you guys know this, and if you're new, you don't know this. I had an accident when I was 6 years old. If you meet me, I walk with a slight limp because of this accident that I had when I was 6 years old that cut off my left heel. I'm talking about a lawnmower accident that completely severed my left heel. So it's like nothing there. I had reconstructive surgeries, over 50 surgeries when I was growing up. Le Bonheur Hospital, Baptist Memorial Hospital, all that kind of stuff. But I was having a moment while we were driving down the road. Me and my wife were going to Alabama yesterday to meet my parents to pick up my kids. And I was just listening to some songs, some worship songs on the way. And I was taken back, Cardale, I was taken back to this mindset of gratitude. Because I remember very, very vividly as a 6-year-old boy, I was at my grandma's house. My mom was a truck driver at the time. My dad was driving a truck as well. So I remember it very clearly. I was after the accident had happened, my grandma set me on her old 1968 Oldsmobile. I think she had an Oldsmobile. It might have been a Chevy. No, I'm sorry, it was a Chevy, something like that. Anyway, that car was hot. I got down off of that car, and I was crawling on all fours. And the vision that I had in my mind, my foot, sorry for the people who got a weak stomach, but my foot was just mangled. And I'm crawling on all fours, just crying, trying to crawl and trying to get into the house. And I remember the pain that I was in very vividly. I remember the pain. I remember just, this is trauma for a 6-year-old. Crawling in the house, my grandma trying to keep me calm. She's on the phone trying to call, the emergency on all these different people, trying to tell them what just happened. So it was complete chaos just going on. But I remember crawling on all fours, and so I was taken back to that moment in my mind, and I remembered where I am now, going back to that 6-year-old boy. And even after one of my surgeries, in the earlier parts of having that situation, there was a time that I checked out of here, meaning I flatlined. And I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but like they had to, do the clear, they had to do that joint to bring me back. And so the gratitude that I felt in the moment while I was listening to that worship song, it was just in case any of you guys want to listen to it, it's called We Serve by J.J. Harrison. I love that song. It's a really, really great song. But I was just in my own mind, just going back and just being super grateful, because had I left here in that moment and died at the age of 6, I would not have met my wife. That wouldn't even be a conversation. And I definitely wouldn't get to know my kids. I wouldn't get to be the father to them. I wouldn't get to be something that I didn't necessarily see growing up as a kid. I wouldn't get the opportunity to positively impact and affect so many people around the world. We wouldn't even be talking about no bases or anything like that, let alone talking about people believing anything, because I'd be out of here. So I think I was overwhelmed with gratitude. Sorry to give you that graphic story, but I had to give you where I was. I was overwhelmed with gratitude as I was going back through moments of my life, and maybe for you, you yours might not be as graphic, might not be as gruesome. Some of you guys might have it even worse. You can go back to some point in your life that was a really low point, a really bad point, and if you compare that to where you currently find yourself, I guarantee in between the time, you'll find some reason to have gratitude, no matter who's gone, no matter what you lost, no matter what you went through. And if we can find a way to practice that gratitude, and for my believers, and even if you don't believe, just do it for practicing sake. Just say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for allowing me to be here. Thank you for the opportunity that I get to get up out of the bed this morning. Even if I woke up with pain, I got up. I had bad news of somebody that I knew when I was a child that passed away yesterday. I'm saying yesterday. It's been happening nonstop. Truth be told, every week you're hearing about someone else. So if you have another chance on this side to say good morning to your kids, to your wife, to your loved ones, whoever they may be, that's something to be grateful for. And what it does, Cardell, if you're still here, it begins to shift your focus off of the pain. That doesn't mean the pain doesn't go away, but now you begin to take control of your mind by placing yourself in a different mental state and raising yourself above the problem that you experience, and raising yourself above the pain, raising yourself above the hurt, because I'm focusing on what I'm grateful for, what I'm thankful for. And if I can focus on what I'm thankful for, all the other stuff has to fall in its proper place. It doesn't get to rule my life. Depression doesn't get to take the reins and lead throughout my day. If I start my day off with gratitude, I end my day with gratitude, I find some time in my day to be grateful, to be thankful, then depression, anxiety, all these different things, they don't get to take the wheel throughout my day, because I'm fighting back with my weapon. For me, my weapon was a weapon of praise, because as me and my wife was driving, I'm just in the truck. I'm over there just, and it wasn't just going nuts, turning cartwheels. I'm driving, but I was overwhelmed with gratitude, and I was praising God, just for the opportunity of that simple pleasure, just because I can, right? Because it could have been different. Anything could have been different. And this is a story I might share, something that happened as recent as yesterday. And I'm super grateful. I'm not going to share it right now, but I'm super grateful just to be able to be here talking to y'all this morning. I'll just say it that way, because it could have went different. It could have went a whole nother way. And that's probably one of the other reasons why I was on this whole gratitude piece, because you just never know how your positive outlook on your life in one moment affects another moment. Because I wonder if I didn't respond the way yesterday morning, how I responded to life, what would have happened yesterday evening when some, event took place? What would have happened? How would have ended different for me? I can't say that it would have ended different or would not have ended. I don't know. But practicing that gratitude is almost like you keep a shield around yourself. You fortify this area around yourself. You make it stronger when you practice that gratitude, because it's contagious. You can't be a person that's always grateful and that doesn't rub off on the people that are around you. You can't be a person like that and it doesn't begin to rub off on you, because the energy that you give off, remember that law of attraction that we said, the energy that you give off, you're going to attract that right back to you. So now things that you're looking for begin to come to you because of this attitude, this mindset. You start attracting that thing that you want, that thing that you need. It starts to come back to you because of what you're giving out. Because if we can keep ourselves in that posture of being grateful, being thankful at all times, it just creates something for us that we need, that we don't know we need. It might be for a later date. So sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I felt that I needed to say that to you. So hopefully that helped, Cardell, if you're still here. Preston, how to really play. I have books, videos, but I have not played any songs. There you go. You just answered your question. You got to sit down and try to figure those songs out. Start pulling them apart to the best of your ability. And if it takes you 2 weeks to learn one song, take all 2 weeks and learn that one song. And what you learn from that process, Begin to repeat that. Do it again and again and again and again. It's tedious, but it's worth the work. Chuck Chuck says, definitely inspiring us to use our voice beyond playing. I'm sure I'm speaking for all of us. We appreciate you, man. I appreciate that, Chuck. Thank you so much. Kenny says, checking your actions provides a great self-examination test. Absolutely. Cardell Ward, my friend. Okay, you was talking to Cardell. Marcinko, if I'm saying that correctly. Grace and peace, man. Brazil, Independence Day, Brazil. Happy Independence Day for you guys. To all my people from Brazil that's watching, happy Independence Day to you. Anthony Winfield, good morning, everyone. I've been driving 34 years. Amazing. Didn't know we had that in common. Yeah, that's cool, man. 34 years. Yeah, I used to drive a truck years ago. Um, that's crazy, man. Uh, Tim Middleton, hello from Australia. Welcome, welcome. All right, so Floppy says, Amen, Amen, Jermaine. Charles says, thank you, Lord, for your grace and your mercy. Listen, you better thank him. Candy Lester says, Cardell Ward and Floppy. He just the praying emojis there. Yeah, Cardell, I see you, man. Hello from Brazil. We got some Brazilians in the house. I know that ain't it. I don't know. Lord, I thank you. Praise is a great weapon. Listen, you better know it. Prayer is my weapon. Absolutely. Um, I appreciate you guys that are in the comments encouraging Cardell. I really appreciate that. Amen. Chuck B says, Amen. I'm blessed by your words of encouragement, and to everyone, God bless. God bless on here. I really, really appreciate that community that you guys are providing. Yeah, that's what I love for this to be a community where we support and encourage one another, because it's easy. It's easy to tear people down. I got into somebody's comments the other day. I'm ashamed, and then again not ashamed to admit it, because I got tired of it. I get so many people trolling me, and this wasn't even about me. This particular day, a friend of mine who has a platform as well, he shared some helpful tips, and this guy came for him in the comments just being just nasty for no reason. And I had to get him. I was like, man, look, this dude up here trying to add value to people and encourage someone, build them up, not tearing them down. But you got to come on here with this. You know what I'm saying? So we're unfortunately, as the human race, oftentimes we're good at kicking people who are wounded instead of building people back up. It's easy. You can even see it in social media, what's popular. Let someone start fighting and somebody gets shot or something like that. It'll go viral. Let someone do a good deed and see how quick that goes. Or someone doing something that's positive, driven, not just trying to get likes, but someone that's adding value to someone in a positive way. And it's crickets. But as soon as it's something negative, we want to share it. We got to do better. We got to do better. He says that fretboard look like a piano. Yeah, please. This big piano here. Cardell says, you never know how much God really cares for you until he sends his love through people like you all. Wow, man. Wow. And that's those things, man, those reminders that we're not alone in what we're facing, because you just never know. Somebody could be on your same street going through the same thing that you went through. And oftentimes, as I found throughout my life, that a lot of the things that happen to me that are not necessarily happening to me, they're happening for me. A lot of the situations that you go through, they're not happening to you, they're happening for you. And that could be like an oxymoron, especially when it's something that's like, you're like, man, this is trash. This ain't happening for me. This is like whack. But when you have they say hindsight is 20/20. When you look back on that thing and how it could have turned out, or how it could have played out, or how you were able to use that and help encourage somebody else through what you went through, you learn that, oh, wow, this thing actually worked for me. Or the wisdom that you took away from this, that you're now able to impart into your kids or somebody else. Didn't make sense when you went through it, but now that you're able to impart that into somebody else, it makes perfect sense. And you see, oh man, this is good, and it was necessary. It was necessary. I don't like it. We're not gonna sit here and say we liked it, but it was necessary because someone else needed that. And I think if we can get out of our own way sometimes, even when it comes to your playing. If you can learn the secret of getting out of your own way, getting out of your own head, and try to use that gift that you have to uplift somebody. I challenge you guys this, if you can do it, maybe not this year, depending on how this pandemic rolls by, but if you can find a way to use your instrument to go bring some love, some joy to somebody else, like going and playing in a nursing home or something like that, going and playing in these, centers where people have given up hope, just going and sharing some music with, playing a few tunes, sending somebody a smile. You might not get on the stage with Beyonce or whoever your favorite artist is, but taking your bass, your guitar, your acoustic set, whatever the case may be, taking it to a place where people are terminally ill and trying to bring joy to someone's day. You know, I did something. I did something when I first started, and I'm gonna leave here in a minute, but I'm enjoying talking to y'all. I did something when I first started going to the schools and speaking at schools years ago, when I was doing my Music Matters tours. And one of the things I started doing was going to the special needs. I'm gonna be honest, initially that wasn't my intention. I was trying to go and speak to these music groups and that kind of thing, and I found out that I can go and speak and share with the special needs. When I tell you, if you ever get the chance to do that and you're not afraid or you're not ashamed, you're not too intimidated or embarrassed, go do that. I went and shared for these special needs kids, and man, it was so humbling. And one of the things that one of the teachers told me when I went to one of these schools, she was like, "I'm so glad that you came and did this for them, because people always forget when they come and do assemblies and they come talk to this person, talk to that person, they always forget about the special needs kids." And she said, "I'm so glad that you took your time out and you came here and specifically made time for them." And in itself, that thing it was so gratifying. It was so rewarding. And talk about being grateful. It shifts your whole mindset, because you start looking at your gift in a different way. You start looking at people in a different way. It takes the focus off of you. You're not trying to do anything, because you're not doing anything for no special needs kids looking for an applause. I can tell you that right now. You're not doing anything. If you're in that type of environment, if you're going to the nursing home, you're not looking for any kind of handouts. You're not that. It takes a different type of person. It takes a different type of mentality. It takes a different type of attitude to even humble yourself to go to a place like that, because one, you don't know how you're going to be received, and you have to adjust and you have to try to make this thing work, to make sure that you're pulling the best out of the people that you're trying to inspire, to try to give hope to, whatever it is you're trying to do. And me doing that with my instrument in those environments, it changed the way I looked at what I did. It really changed the way that I saw that I could make impact. And it started shifting my things to knowing, man, this ain't about me. This ain't about me. And I encourage every musician to do it. I know we're not gonna do it. Most won't. Let me rephrase that. I know most musicians won't do it, but I encourage you guys, because musicians, not everybody, not all of us, but a lot of us can have the tendency to be super self-centered and completely self-driven in terms of all about us. You know what I'm saying? It might be the wrong term, but you know what I mean by that. I encourage you guys to get out and use your gifts for something that ain't guaranteed to pay you back. And I know some of you guys do it already in your church, but that's your norm. I'm talking about getting out of your norm, taking your gift to somewhere, to somebody who can't necessarily pay you back for what you do. I ain't say go do it all the time, but at least do it once and see how that shifts your mind. See how that shifts the way that you do what you do. Even if you're not a musician, you don't play music, there's something that you do and you do really well. Go offer that to somebody who can't pay you back for what you do, and see how that changes how you do what you do, and how it changes your gratitude for being able to do what you do. It's life changing. It's life changing. Um, Emmanuel says, when the hateful comments show up on my channel, I actually pin them and say, "God bless you for taking some time to leave a comment. Listen, Emmanuel, they help your algorithm. They it's like, thank you for your comment, because you just said to YouTube, people are commenting on this video. Be it good or bad, good publicity or bad publicity, it's still publicity. So hey, it is what it is. We don't like it, but hey, at least they talking. That's another way of looking at it. Cardell says, but the Bible says those who do the work of my Father are my family. And I thank God for you all. I really need it. Bless you all. Yes, sir. Cardell. Floppy T says, my twin works at a school for kids with special needs that my middle boy attended. Went in a few times to play, and it was an amazing, humbling experience. So Floppy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I even got reports, and you put me back on. I even got reports that some of the kids at some of the schools I went to, they came to me and said, one of the guys, he got really, I wish I could show the video, but he got really into what I was doing, and he was really involved. I mean, having a good time, and he's being silly and everything. And the teacher came up to me after the class, and she says, he's never got involved in anything. He's always quiet. He's really standoffish. He doesn't like anybody to bother him. But when you were doing what you were doing, he was, all into it. He was having a good time. So it's like there's certain things that we're able to do. There's certain barriers we're able to break. Doing this thing is a gift, man. You can't take this lightly. If you've been gifted with music or some type of something, learn some purpose behind it. I'm not saying that that's your entire purpose, but try to find some type of way to use this thing, because this thing is life-changing. It's life-changing when you change the trajectory of what you're doing with it. Tiffany says, it's good that you made yourself available to the kids at the gifted levels. You never know where your music jewels of the future are. You're absolutely right with that. I had a few of those kids in there that they're autistic that were in that class who were doing some amazing, amazing things at one of the classes I went to. So you're absolutely right, Tiffany. J Red says, free play for decades. Absolutely, man. Now, I'm not saying, let me be clear, you don't have to ever play for any money or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But every now and again, you should do it. You should do it for people who can't necessarily compensate you for what you do. And watch what happens. Watch what happens. All right, so it all comes back down to the intentions of your heart. Where your heart is. You know what I'm saying? Where your heart is where your treasure will be. Right? So that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you all for rocking with me this long. I see we have a decent group that's just rock with me. We've been on here for an hour and a half. I didn't really mean to be on here this long. So anyway, I hope this was super helpful for you. If it was, share this with someone. Share this share this video with someone. I'm not just trying to get likes and help the algorithm and all that stuff, even though it's good. But I want this to be beneficial to someone. If you know someone that needed to hear this today, give this to them. Share this with them. And Jay Red said, when it's my turn, it's going to be big. Absolutely. Jay, man, you are a blessing. Thank God for you, man. I'm grateful for you. Cardell, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for those words. God bless you all. Thank you, Jermaine. Floppy, thank you, man. I see you were able to hang around to the end. So thank you all for being here again. That's it. I try to make a habit of this because I forget to mention this now throughout these live broadcasts. But I do want you guys to know about my book. If you haven't already read it, if you're a musician, I did write something that's super, super helpful for musicians, and I want you to check it out. So I'm going to play this. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. I'm going to try this now here and see how it goes. Let's see if it plays.
Hey, are you a working musician? Or maybe an aspiring musician that's hoping to one day become a working musician? Then chances are you didn't get into this thing because you were looking to become a millionaire overnight or something like that. Most likely you got into it for the love and the passion of the music. I know that was the reason for me. Listen, I'm Jermaine Morgan, musician, songwriter, producer, artist, teacher, speaker, and several other titles that fall under that same category of music. And I mentioned all those titles for a reason. I've been a musician for about 26 years. And of those 26 years, I've been a professional musician for about 15 years. And throughout that time, I've learned so much as it pertains to my own journey and my own success as a musician, that's allowed me to take care of my family, and that's allowed me to grow even in my own endeavors as an entrepreneur, not just a musician, but an actual entrepreneur. And I actually wanted to share some of these things that I've done in my own journey that helped me to grow and to have my own success, not always worrying about the next gig or who's going to call me next in order for me to provide income and me to be able to take care of my family, actually creating something for myself. So I actually wrote this book called 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician. And in this book, I wanted to show you practical ways that I've used that have been tried and proven that actually work to help you create your own income. And it might be some things that you may be overlooking if you are a working musician, because I know many times we can get caught up in the next gig, the next call, the next session, the next this, the next that, to the point that we're not looking to create anything for our own selves. We're waiting on someone else to call us. But in this book, I just want to challenge you to be more resourceful through my own personal journey, through my own personal story, so you can possibly look at some things you might have been looking over the years that could have been costing you some major success in areas that you never even thought about. So I encourage you to pick this book up. You can find it on Amazon. Again, 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician by Jermaine Morgan, myself. Or if you want a more personalized copy signed by me, you can find that on my website at jermainemorgan.net. Listen, I really appreciate you for taking out the time to check out this video, and I just wanted to leave you with one last word of encouragement. If you are a musician, you don't have to become famous to become a success. I'll see you soon.